Well, welcome to our second Quantacast. After a hugely successful first one, maybe we're guessing. I've got again with me today Chris Carrigan, who's the head of our property investment team and a key part of our business. And we're lucky enough, Chris, to have Chloe Bingley, who is a senior associate with our incorporated and independent to Quanta law practice. I think before we move on with just sort of some general info today, and that was the idea that we catch up and have a chat about what's happening in the market, what's been happening around Quanta. We might just dive in and quickly introduce Chloe a little bit further. Chloe, I'll read some of the notes, even though we've worked together for quite a long time. Chloe is, as I said, a senior associate. She's been with the business for 8 years. So things have changed. We went from an in-house a legal service to an incorporated and independent legal practice. So Arena's been around for nearly 5 years now, and they do a fantastic job for us. Chloe started off with us, Chris, if you may not know, as a paralegal, has worked her way through and an integral part of the business. So welcome, Chloe.
Thank you.
I kind of pulled you in at the last minute because we had another illness, as many people have, for one of the guys coming on the cast today. But we're happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So let's just jump into a few things right away. So I guess one of the really important things to touch on today is that we've completed on Yamanto and we've acquired that asset into our multi-sector income trust, Chris. So hopefully the team's feeling pretty buoyant about that and pretty happy about that. What's your view?
Yeah, look, really good transaction. It was great to back when we signed the agreement to enter into the transaction. We had anticipated all the interest rate rises that were coming, so it's going to perform robustly despite those interest rate rises. And it was great to get settlement on the 18th and move forward and look forward to the next one, which shouldn't be too far away.
Good. Yeah, look, I went down and had a look at it myself. I don't know if you've been down, Chloe, but it's a really tidy asset. I think the way we designed this particular transaction as well, probably worth noting, is that whilst we were really pleased with the way the market responded to the raise, we've got a really great bunch of existing investors and new investors into this particular fund via Yamanto. So it's probably worth noting that the investment will remain open sort of for the medium term. So if we can facilitate some more investment for investors that aren't currently with us, we're absolutely set up to do that.
Yeah, I mean, two things. We invest alongside our investors, and that just allows us to be aligned with our investors to, nothing better than having a bit of skin in the game to keep people focused, which we are incredibly focused on getting those great outcomes. And then also one criticism we've had of the business historically is that people ring up and want to invest and we've got nothing to offer them. So we have also retained additional units so that when those people do appear and are looking for investment opportunities, we've got something we can put them into straight away.
Absolutely. So on the investment piece, Chris, what's on the radar at the moment? I know that the guys have got a lot that they're looking at. I know that we've had some near misses on some things, we would have liked to probably have transacted on, but I know we're getting closer all the time and there's a lot on the boil. So what's catching your interest at the moment?
Well, a lot's changed since our last Quantacast in
May.
In May. So the number of buyers in the market are a lot fewer. There is still some competition on assets and campaigns from other buyers. And we have missed out on a couple of things, but that's because we've maintained our discipline and made sure we didn't get deal fever and get overexcited. But there definitely is, it's definitely a case of don't waste a good crisis. So there are opportunities that, there more so in some sectors than others, but there are opportunities in the market that weren't here three or 4 months ago. So, and so there's good pricing opportunities, and we're certainly seeing opportunities that would be able to for us to enable us to deliver much better distributions than we thought we may have been able to even 4 months ago.
Sure. And mate, just on those distributions and looking at increasing, those in the future. Just to touch on the Yamanto one, is that kind of not safe haven, but I've got some investment myself into it. But I feel like with the volatility and everything still, and again I think the inflation in the US was 9.1%, so there's going to be some more hurt in the interest rates around the world. It feels to me that you've got that sort of still that safe haven with this, multi-sector income trust with the 6.5, but then there's a little bit more on the spectrum of the sort of 8s if we're lucky on some other transactions maybe in the future.
And we people are their own. Our investors are their own portfolio manager. We don't construct their portfolio for them. What we try and do is provide opportunities at various points up and down the risk and return spectrum. So the multi-sector income trust is at the lower risk end of that spectrum, and accordingly it's got modest returns, but they are largely robust in terms of potential impact of interest rate rises based on where we're seeing bank forecasts for interest rates. And they've also got uses in them that are less volatile to the kind of economic volatility we're seeing moving forward. So that's not to say that we're not going to be conscious of risk moving forward, of course, but we're always conscious of providing a strong risk-adjusted return. Other things are going to be more value add and opportunistic that move up that risk and return spectrum, so that investors can decide at what level of risk and return they feel comfortable. Okay. The real opportunity for us is to try to find investments that deviate favourably from that risk and return spectrum. So either for a given level of risk they provide a superior return, or for a given level of return the risk level is lower than we would usually see on those. So that's what we're looking for. Okay.
And so, do you think at the moment, Chris, that the opportunity is greater? As you said, there's fewer buyers, and so is it fewer buyers in a particular area? So is it fewer institutional buyers? Is it fewer sort of private, high worth individuals?
Look, I think over the spectrum, I think in all price categories, there's fewer
more
buyers.
Cautious.
Yes. Okay. And that provides opportunity if you are well thought out about the risks and the reasons why people are not participating at the moment.
Okay, good. Thanks for that little update there. We'll move over to Chloe, and I just probably need to say it's nice to be able to do the Quantacast in our offices today. We've got a beautiful background.
Beautiful.
And I know that we like coming into this environment. It's beautiful in the middle of the CBD in Brisbane. So I was just thinking to myself, it's a different set for us to be.
Where did you do the first one?
We did the first one down at West End in the studio.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's really nice to be set up in the office. Well, look, just in talking about being in the office today, it's worth noting that we've had our investors in the office, as Chris would know, in the last few weeks, and we've done a bit of a roadshow. We've been out visiting our investors, and we've been to Sydney a couple of times. We've been up to Noosa, and we had a really great boardroom lunch in here, Chris, and it was the engagement from the investors was fantastic. There was sort of small groups talking amongst themselves. There was a lot of great questions. There was a lot of feedback that was provided to us. So I think we'll just continue on with that is the plan, because in the past we've had sort of 6 monthly lunches where, having sort of 10 or 12 people in a room, I think people have spoken more freely, and we've been able to get get to the bottom of some of the queries and satisfy some of those queries as well. Is that what you found from a reaction from the investors?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an open door here. We're really keen to talk to the investors, really keen to engage with them and talk to them about what's coming up. We were fortunate to have, as well as seeing existing investors, but we've hosted some new investors, and it's been great to get to know them and really find out what they find appealing in terms of the kinds of opportunities we offer. So it's been a really rewarding experience.
Yeah, because you do spend a fair bit of time on the phone, right? So as much as I think it's great for them to understand who we are, because let's face it, there's a lot of things you can invest in. I think, a lot of the time you like to invest in people and building that relationship, but it's great the other way because you can put a face to a name as well, from a Quanta perspective, and it just strengthens everything. So it's been really pleasing. I've really enjoyed it, and hopefully we just continue to do that throughout, the lifetime of this business, because I think that hopefully will be the difference and people see that.
Yep, definitely.
Great. Chloe, and we've been in the office. We moved in the beginning of 2021.
Yeah, it was over Christmas we did the move. Yeah.
So we've been in here about 18 months now, and we've got a couple of levels. So
it's a great space.
Plenty of activity happening here. Chloe, let's move on, if you don't mind, and have a little bit of a chat about Arena Law, because they're a big component of the Quanta Group, I guess you could say. Do you want to just let everyone know a little bit about how Arena interacts with the greater Quanta business?
So a lot of leasing, helping get deals done, negotiate leases, helping the acquisitions team with their due diligence, making sure that we're helping everybody in the business make their lives easier so that they can do their jobs. And so we touch bases with everyone in that respect.
Okay, and so all the way through to completing the transaction or disposal as well?
Yep, so from tip to toe, from the point we get the heads of agreement, the EOI, even before the heads of agreement, drafting the heads, going through the negotiation stages, all the documents, then right through to facilitating the settlement, and then post-settlement in terms of managing the asset.
Right. So I take it you've seen some tricky things, and whilst you might not want to disclose exactly any particular transaction, I'm again putting you on the spot, which I love doing, Chris. It's good to see Chloe sweat a little bit under the lights of the camera. But is there anything that stands out to you over your 8 years that was particularly tricky in getting a transaction completed, or a lease, or whatever it might be?
The first thing that always comes to mind when asked that type of question was Geraldton. So that was the first Western Australian asset that we bought. Yep. Having never bought anything, over there was a challenge in and of itself.
Just because the legislation's different?
Yeah, jurisdictionally it was totally different, but we kind of got through the first part of the negotiation phase, and then some pretty big issues arose in relation to tenants and registration of leases on title. So that created a big, mess that we were able to clean up, thankfully. And, moving forward, we got it sorted.
So Chloe, whilst I guess you began your life with Quanta as an in-house lawyer, and then moving through to the independent practice with Arena, and Quanta being, your key client. So just in terms of external work, that's something that Arena's branched out in the last 6 months?
Yeah, exactly. So more recently we've marketed ourselves externally and put ourselves out there in terms of being able to service external clients on property matters.
Right.
We're getting a bit of traction on that, and it's keeping things interesting.
Okay, well, there's a little advertisement. We got her on, she's plugging Arena, I like it. Fantastic. So look, let's do a little bit of the personal stuff now, because I'm pretty certain that anyone who's listening, or the people that do business with us, would like to know a little bit more about you two personally. We understand Chris is a rock star, and he's talked about in his music career in the past. But let's ask Chloe. So Chloe, what would, and again, putting you on the spot, what is something you think would surprise maybe even Chris and I about you, or anyone listening about you?
I love country music.
Do you?
Love it.
Actually, I do remember you went. Did you go to Nash? Did you go to Nashville?
I did. Yes.
Right. How was that experience?
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, massive 4 days. Just fabulous.
Right.
Like nothing I've ever done before.
So you just went on was there something happening there for the 4 days, or you
It's
just?
a country music
Oh,
festival.
you went to the wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
And so you went with your husband Aaron.
No, I went with my sister and my
Oh.
mum.
Very good.
Yeah.
Can you name one current country music, contemporary country music artist?
Just one. Come on.
I would say
Just one.
the only one I remember is Billy Ray Cyrus.
What?
Not
It was
Current.
not- Faith, someone Faith.
Faith Hill?
Faith Hill.
Not current, really.
Okay, not Karen either. The answer is no. What about you, Chris?
Oh, mate. Tim McGraw, Luke Combs. Is it Combs?
Yes. Luke Combs. Yeah.
They're
Okay.
the only two I know.
Right, okay. So you looked those up before we came in. Right, okay, that's great. So maybe Chris can learn some of those songs and play on his guitar. What about you, Chris? Last time we were in here, we learned a little bit about you and your family. And Chloe, we know you've got Rory, your son. How old's Rory?
3.5.
3.5, and keeping you busy. What would something that might surprise us about you, Chris?
Oh,
Other than we know that your hair's natural. It's not something that you've to work on.
Look, I through recent experience I can now tell the difference between most species of turf.
Oh, right. Really? So have you done some work at home?
Just deep research into turfing.
Okay.
So you've done a bit of landscaping lately?
Yeah.
So what have you gone with?
It's Sagrange. It's just a fine leaf.
Product.
Fine leaf
Yeah.
turf.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can tell I know a lot about it.
How's it taken?
It only got put down 2 days ago.
Okay.
So
Good.
Time will tell.
Good.
Yeah.
So he's got a green thumb. Chloe, what would be one of your most memorable moments working at this business? And maybe that might be something that's individual to you, or you have how many different titles have you had? Because you've really from paralegal to senior associate to there's a few
Probably
things.
4.
Okay.
4 different ones.
Yep.
Standout. Oh, it's got to be some of the social club events.
Mm.
Not going to go into too much detail about them.
Chloe
Tim
does
might
like
know.
Chloe does. We do have a social club here at Quanta, and we have our quarterly events and a few things in between. But yeah, we've had some pretty good fun. Chloe and I on the way through. And Chris, lastly to you, what have you got planned? For the rest of the year on a personal front, is there anything happening with the family, or are you getting away at all, or you're working pretty hard since you've been here for the last 3 months? Or?
No. Look, just really looking forward to I'm just focused on getting a good first year at Quanta and getting some really good investments under our belt. And then if all that happens, then can have a great Christmas holiday, but we'll worry about that later.
Okay, good answer. It was a test. It was actually a test. It's got to be all Quanta focused. Look, I think we'll wrap up there. It was just a quick catch up today. And look, thank you to you both. It's good to have Chris's second time round and looking very relaxed. And Chloe,
Not so much.
It was nice to have you in as well. So I think we'll close off there and look forward to catching up with people in our third instalment of the Quantacast.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, team.
Cheers.